Today, we're going to trace the epic history of Bangladesh. And honestly, it's a story as powerful and dynamic as the mighty rivers that shaped its land. So we're going to follow this journey right from its ancient sources, through golden ages, and some really turbulent rapids, to see how a modern nation was finally formed.
Think of this as our map for today's journey. We'll start with the first streams of civilization, watch as the river of culture deepens and becomes this amazing global hub, and then we'll see how it was dammed during the colonial era. After navigating the turbulent rapids of the 20th century, we'll finally arrive where we are today, the formation of the modern nation, the Delta.
All right, so here is how we're breaking it all down. Our story unfolds in 6 key chapters. We'll explore the land itself, its incredible golden ages, the massive impact of colonialism, the absolutely pivotal fight for language, the birth of the nation, and finally, its remarkable rise in the modern world.
To really get a grip on Bangladesh, you have to start with its geography. I mean, the land and its rivers, they are the very foundation upon which this entire incredible history is built.
This is really where it all kicks off. You've got this incredible fertility in the Delta, a gift from these 3 mighty rivers. This has made the land a cradle of civilization for literally millennia. This rich soil is both the literal and, the metaphorical foundation for everything that's about to follow.
And on this amazing, fertile land, powerful kingdoms started to emerge. Take the Gangaridai. They were so renowned that even the ancient Greeks wrote about their fearsome war elephants. Later on, the region became a vital part of these massive empires, the Maurya and the Gupta, which were eras that saw Buddhism spread and a real flourishing of science and art.
Okay, so as we move into the medieval period, we see the river of Bengali culture running incredibly deep. This was an era of independent empires, a time when the region really became a global center for both learning and for trade.
You can't talk about this era without talking about the Pala Empire. This was Bengal's first truly independent kingdom. Its Buddhist rulers built these massive universities, like Somapura Mahavihara. And we're not just talking about local education here. This was a global center for Buddhist thought, shaping its spread across Tibet, Southeast Asia, and way beyond.
Now, the region's wealth wasn't just intellectual. It was a commercial powerhouse. And a huge driver of this prosperity was muslin. This wasn't just any old fabric. This stuff was legendary. It was so fine it was called woven air, a textile that everyone wanted, and it made Bengal the world's leading producer during the Mughal era.
So you have these 2 huge eras, and each one adds its own special ingredient to the mix. The independent Bengal Sultanate was absolutely crucial for developing the Bengali language and its own unique style of architecture. And then later, under the Mughals, it became this incredibly wealthy province, a global hub for luxury goods like that muslin we talked about, but also silk and rice.
But then, everything changes. The river's course gets, forcibly diverted. The arrival of European powers, especially the British, marks one of the most dramatic and difficult turning points in this entire story.
If there's one year you need to remember from this, it's this one, 1757, the Battle of Plassey. This was the moment the British East India Company defeated the local ruler and basically seized control. And after this, nothing would ever be the same.
To really feel the impact of what happened, you have to understand what Bengal was like right before 1757. It was a vibrant, prosperous region, a global hub that was attracting traders from all across Europe for its high-quality goods. It was a place of immense wealth and production.
And the contrast with what came next is, it's stark. Under British rule, Bengal's wealth was systematically drained. Its resources were exploited, local industries like that legendary muslin trade were deliberately crushed to get rid of competition with British mills, and insane taxes led to absolutely devastating famines. This economic devastation, of course, fueled powerful movements for independence. So the British leave in 1947, but the river doesn't just find calm waters. Nope. Instead, it plunges into some of its most turbulent rapids yet, as a whole new struggle began. And this time, it was a fight for cultural identity and for language itself.
Okay, so here's what happened. When British India was partitioned, the region of Bengal was literally sliced in 2. West Bengal became a state in India, while East Bengal was joined with a country over 1,000 miles away to become East Pakistan. This geographical and cultural separation, as you can imagine, set the stage for immediate conflict.
And right away, things were not fair, not even close. Even though they were the majority of the population, the people of East Pakistan faced systematic discrimination. Their economy was exploited for the West Wing's benefit, they're denied political power, and then, in a final profound insult, their very identity was attacked when Urdu was imposed as the only national language, suppressing their beloved mother tongue, Bengal.
And that insult sparked the language movement. On February 21, 1952, students protesting for the right to speak their own language were killed by police. This quote, it just captures the profound sacrifice. It wasn't just about politics anymore. This was about the soul of their identity, and people were literally willing to die for it.
You know, that fight for language, it lit a fuse that just could not be put out. The sacrifice of those language martyrs fired up an entire generation. It transformed a cultural movement into an unstoppable political demand for freedom. And it led directly to the climax of our story, the moment the river of national identity finally breaks free.
And the path to freedom was fast and furious. Decades of injustice boiled over in the historic 7th of March speech by Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, which was just this incredibly powerful call to arms. This was followed by a formal declaration of independence, which ignited a brutal 9-month war for liberation.
And it all came down to this one single day, December 16, 1971. After immense sacrifice, the war was won, and Bangladesh was born, a triumphant, independent nation forged in the fires of a struggle for language, for culture, and for self-determination.
So what happens after the river breaks free? Well, it starts to form a delta, a new, complex, and ever-growing landscape. This final chapter is all about the challenges and the incredible achievements of Bangladesh as a modern nation.
It's really a story of resilience. From the ashes of a war-torn country, Bangladesh has built this dynamic new economy. And it's powered by the tireless work of its people, in a globally significant garment industry, in a revitalized agricultural sector, and through the vital money sent home from millions of Bangladeshis working all over the world.
And you can see the results of all that hard work. I mean, look at this. The poverty rate has absolutely plummeted, and the literacy rate has been climbing steadily. But the journey isn't over. The nation faces huge challenges, especially from climate change, which is a massive threat to its low-lying delta. Still, these aren't just numbers on a chart. They represent millions of lives transformed since independence.
So when you look back, from ancient streams to a modern delta, you see this incredible river's journey of thousands of years that has created a resilient, vibrant, and culturally rich nation of nearly 170 million people. That history has been written, but the river, it just keeps flowing. And the real question is, what does its next chapter hold?